And we are here at the B20 Summit in Berlin, Germany. I'm very honored to be speaking with Carsten Lexa. He is the president of the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance. Thank you so much, Mr. Lexa, for speaking with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So you're the president of the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance here in Germany. So what is the purpose of the alliance and what does it have to do with the B20?
Well, the purpose of the Alliance is to give a voice to young entrepreneurs. And we think that young entrepreneurs have a lot to say, especially because they are very open-minded. They are at the forefront of technology, of digitalization. And the reason why we work together with the B20 is they asked us, especially this year, the presidency is of course by Germany, and they asked us specifically to get involved into the task forces and to bring in our opinions, our wisdom, our knowledge, and use it to create the recommendations.
So can you tell us what the key recommendations are for young entrepreneurs at the B20?
Well, I would say there are two or three that are really key. One is, of course, mobility. If you look at young entrepreneurs, very often they are not focusing on their own country, but they create apps, they create platforms, and then everybody can use it, not only people in their country. So this is one of the key recommendations, that we have to look at mobility. For example, that we should think about how can people move from one country to another. Maybe you know that very often it's complicated to set up companies, to do business in a country. So we recommend a visa for young entrepreneurs or for entrepreneurs in general that helps young entrepreneurs to move from one country to another in the G20. And the other very important recommendation is with regards to regulations. Very often young entrepreneurs have the problem that they have great ideas, but if they go and implement it in several countries, they are faced with so much burden, so much regulation or regulative frameworks, that it's so complicated for them to establish their business in these countries. So these are, I would say, two of the key recommendations that we have to young entrepreneurs.
So the Alliance will have their summit in June this year, and it's shortly before the G20 Summit. And the topic is digital trends for the future business.
Yeah.
Can you already tell what these trends are?
Well, we have identified four trends, four basic trends. One is obviously platforms, then we have big data, then we have artificial intelligence, and of course, because we're in Germany, Internet of Things. And these are the four trends, and under these trends, we want to discuss certain things, for example, certain developments. When you think at platforms, for example, what about the banking platforms? What will happen? Will they force established banks out of business? We have a lot of these new technologies regarding banking, for example, in Frankfurt. But we also will talk, for example, about cybersecurity. When you look at, for example, Internet of Things, what happens if you have an app that controls machinery and then somebody, for example, hacks the apps? So what are the consequences, for example, especially when you use the app in several countries? And these are some of the things, and this will affect doing business, this will affect how young entrepreneurs do business, and I think it will be a great summit, and I'm really looking forward to discussing these topics at the summit.
We look forward to seeing that as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Lexa, for speaking with us today. It was really a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you very much.